I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Nandini Ayu Kartika from Institut Ilmu Kesehatan Nahdlatul Ulama Tuban. I would like to share my opinions about this house would impoverish culture. I'm as the closing government. The impoverishment of the culture is indeed necessary in the data on the amount of money spent by the cultures is clearly known. Today, we cannot predict the existence of money laundering as stated by the fourth speakers. Presented by these first speakers, impoverished corruption must be done 150% to return the money that has been spent for the cases. If we apply impoverish the cultures, we must also apply impoverish the cultures families in terms of blacklisting them for all types of work so that no incomes will come and the impoverished punishment will be more effective and from the limits of the specified percentage data. And in addition, in the implementation of the law by limiting corruptors never get assistance from the government in any form succor will strengthen the punishment. Review the opinions about the four speakers about money laundering. It could have been prevented beforehand with several effective preventive measures to the further strengthen the law on impoverished and the culture also their families. Prevention can be done in several ways. The role of service provider by monitoring and updating data to find out the updated customer profile and risk. Also maintaining statistical data on reported account and reporting to the center. Don't forget about the role of financial service and provides customer and also the general. Review the opinions about the second speaker about the jail is a basic human right, but only relying on prison won't make the characters and their families will not deter. They even will be able to continue the cases. And by only relying on prison law, and if, for example, it has been enacted as a law that complies with human rights, there will be more corruption cases so that potential corruptors will be more willing to take more harmful risks and that are not big and not deter them. And the second speaker said that their families still survive instead of ask them to pay back. Therefore, we should return back to the stronger solution by limiting and blacklisting the family so that it's deterrent. Whether it is small case of corruption or big case of corruption, an impoverished sentence must still be applied according to the severity of their cases. Have you ever felt irritated when you saw defendants of corruption who still could smile easily at the cameras because of the country laws is not strong enough? Regarding to the maximum limit for overcoming corruption in Indonesia, there are still many corruption cases in Indonesia. In Indonesia, it only stipulates that the law for its action, not counting the number of the corruption committed. I will make you feel more annoyed that if you see the condition of the jail of the corruptors, the prison's condition which are still relatively good compared to the another crime cases. I note this is second speaker's opinions again. What about the corruptors who have small family or children? Because we apply the law to their family as well so that it's become the deterrent. And then, after that, we will provide more education or even the protection about the impact and risk of a corruption so that they will learn more from the case of their family. Therefore, we must give the punishment by impoverishing the corruptors and their family so they had to learn and reflect to their own creed and behavior as the third speaker said. And to make other potential corruptors and generals to be afraid and aware of the severity of the punishment for corruption cases in Indonesia and also in the future. And so that the name of Indonesia in the world arena will improve with a tightening of penalties or punishment and on corruption cases in Indonesia. And it hopes that the corruption rate will decrease. That's my opinion and I hope it can be considered.
My name is Yumsa Amalendershana from Institut Ilmu Kesehatan Nahdlatul Ulama Tuban. The application of the punishment for confiscation of property can be applied in the process of punishing corruptors. This can be done by fully returning the assets that have been corrupted by the perpetrators to the state. The practice of corruption is difficult to eradicate completely because of the weak integrity and self-awareness of public. If earlier the lead of opposition said that even murderer still commits murder even though it has been punished. Yes, it's true. But it can reduce the crime as well as corruption. If we impoverish corruptors, they will be deterred and will not commit such acts. Once they are poor, they have no power and authority to do corruption anymore. Then, protect the public deter crimes is important. But the more important is heinous acts. People avoid anything that puts them in danger. Therefore, we must convince them that by committing corruption, they will be in danger. The way to convince them is with appropriate punishment for corruptors. And the best punishment for that is to impoverish the corrupt. Jail is not enough to punish the corruptor. 150% of what they have stolen also can't be returned. If they are only sentenced to the jail, corruption will only become a common crime, and more people will commit corruption. In the status quo now, even if they still have money and power, they will make their own jail with complete facilities like a hotel. When they at the jail, they will not regret it, but they will think about what corruption they will do in the future. So if you want to punish corruptor with the jail sentences, you must also be impoverish the corruptor and their families as well, and blacklist their names from the institution they corrupted before. Impoverishing made them be an impoverished person, low class person is not right. We have to mark from the start that people who have committed corruption will not receive financial assistance from the government in any form. It's an additional punishment for them, so it can have a deterrent effect. Besides that, corruptors must be smart people, so they can't stay quiet if they fall into poverty. They must still have their self-respect that made them get up and set up a new business. So it's impossible for them to become low-class person easily. Then after we impoverish them, not entirely they add to the burden of the state. So, impoverishing the corruptor is the right solution for the corruption because by impoverishing the corruptors, they will not have the money, power, and authority to commit a corruption again. Besides that, it will also increase the deterrent effect for perpetrators of the corruption. Proud to be closing government. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.